Well, we can talk to the Conservative leader, Kemi Badenoch, who joins us now. Good morning.
Hello.
We've just seen a poll in YouGov which shows the Conservatives have pulled level with Labour, albeit only on 19 points. But is that progress of a sort, Kemi Badenoch?
Well, what we're seeing is that people are listening to us again.
This important interruption is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Protect your money and your identity. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code here to get ExpressVPN right now and save up to 73% on annual plans today. Right, let's get back into it.
We suffered a historic defeat last year, and oppositions have taken 14 years, 13 years, 18 years to come back. We're going to do this in 4 years. So there's still a long way to go, but what we are seeing is that many people are interested in what the Conservatives have to say because they can see that they're getting poorer under Labour.
Now, your response to the Chancellor's budget speech got some widely covered. Lots of people very much praising the way that you took the budget down and the criticism that you had of Rachel Reeves. Do you think that is cutting through? Nigel Farage has published a piece today in The Telegraph saying, don't trust the Tories. Do you think he's worried?
I think he is worried. On the same day when he's trying to recruit as many former Conservatives as possible, he's saying don't trust the Tories. It can't be both things at the same time. I think it's a very confused message, but I'm not really interested in what he's saying. I think the fact that he chose to attack us at a time when it's Labour that's on the ropes, it's the Chancellor who's in the dock. They are making everyone in our country poorer, apart from people on benefits. And Nigel Farage thinks the most important thing to do is to attack me. That is not serious. We right now, as a country, need to get serious and get a grip. We are getting poorer. We're living beyond our means. We are the only party, the Conservatives, who are interested in fiscal responsibility. And I think that people can see that, and that's why they're paying more attention.
In your conference speech, I was there for it, Kemi Badenoch, you mentioned the flagship policy that you would scrap stamp duty. We've hardly heard the Tories talk about it ever since, or if you have, I've missed it. Why aren't you talking about it at every opportunity? Because I think it would be a hugely popular policy, especially with young people who can't get on the property market.
Oh, I am talking about it with every single opportunity. I was just talking to Catherine Forster, one of your colleagues, and she said the last time we spoke, it was because we were talking about stamp duty. So yes, we are making sure that people know what our policies are, but there is a lot that is going on. And right now, the big problem with the budget is that working people are being taxed to the hilt to pay for benefits. That was a budget for benefits. Rachel Reeves is using everyone else's money in order to save her job, bribe her backbenchers so they don't get rid of her. That is the wrong way round. She should be losing her job and everyone else should be keeping theirs. I'm at a business right now where they talked about what the last budget did to them. The jobs tax meant that they had to sack people. We need aspirational positive policies like abolishing stamp duty. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about it. The other thing that people are talking about is revitalising the high streets. We want to scrap business rates for most of the high streets. If they're under £110,000 rates, retail, hospitality, leisure, that's pubs, shops, cafes, restaurants, we would scrap their business rates.
Now, one of the pressing problems that this country is facing at the moment is the enormous backlog in the courts. David Lammy has suggested scrapping jury trials. If that's not the answer, what is?
It is not the answer. The answer is to just get a grip. They don't know how to do anything. Everything that this government touches is a shambles, whether it's borders, whether it's prisons, whether it's taxes. They're U-turning all over the place. On the grooming gangs national inquiry, they've U-turned. Now they can't find someone to do it. On winter fuel payments, they said they were going to take it away. Then they decided to give it back. They are all over the place. This is just another example. We have a bunch of people who were not ready for government. They told people whatever they wanted to hear. Now they've got into government, they don't know how to run things. And this is why I am trying to distinguish myself from all of the other parties, Labour, Lib Dems, Reform. They all talk a good game. How do you make sure things work? They don't know. We are doing the hard work in opposition to make sure that we are ready in 4 years' time when everybody is going to be doing all they can to kick out this Labour government.
But just before we let you go, Kemi Badenoch, some people might say the Tories weren't very good at running things either, which is why they got booted out with such a resounding defeat last summer.
Well, we won 4 elections in a row, so I think that people saw something that they were voting for. And I'm not here to pretend that everything was perfect. It certainly wasn't. There were a lot of arguments about which direction to go to. Miriam will know a lot about that. But what I'm trying to do is make sure people understand what we stand for now. I am very proud of my own personal record in government. There was a lot of stuff that I did as business secretary, as equalities minister, that stood the test of time. And I can say that I did the right thing. I'm in charge now. The party's now under my leadership, not the previous people. I don't have a time machine to go back and fix some of the things that went wrong. But when it came to things like cutting the deficit, we did that all the way to the pandemic. If any other party, Labour, Lib Dems, Reform, had been in charge during the pandemic, this country would have been bankrupted. We saved the country during that time. I am proud of it. We didn't get everything right, and we're going to show people that we can earn their trust, that we are worthy of their trust. We're not expecting everybody to rush back overnight. We are working hard to make sure that we can win the trust of the British people.
Every time you're online, your money and your identity are at risk. Scams now make up nearly 40% of all crime in the UK. That's thousands of attacks every single day. In Britain, someone has their identity stolen every 2 minutes, leaving victims with wrecked finances and years of stress. The threat is real, and you could be next. ExpressVPN is your shield against criminals. It locks down your devices, hiding your personal information and financial details from hackers, scammers, and anyone else looking to exploit you. So whether you're checking your bank, shopping, or just browsing, ExpressVPN makes you invisible to prying eyes trying to steal your money and your identity. ExpressVPN shields your data with military-grade AES 256 encryption. That's the same standard trusted by the US government to guard classified information. This is the highest level of online security you can get. So don't wait for disaster. Secure up to 14 devices at once and get powerful password protection. Real support is available 24/7 because cybercrime never sleeps. Save up to 73% on annual plans today. Every moment you hesitate is another moment you're exposed. Protect your money and protect your identity. Get ExpressVPN right now.
Are you surprised Rachel Reeves is still there?
I am
To change the subject.
I am surprised, and I do wonder if she will make out the week. But they do seem very Teflon, this government, don't they? That whatever scandal comes, however much pressure is put, they just hang on in there.
It would be so difficult to lose a Deputy Prime Minister and Chancellor of the Exchequer there in the space of 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it is.
Which is probably why he is hanging on to her.
I think it makes his position perilous.
It makes it, I think, untenable. But also, I think we, as the voting public, should be very careful what we wish for.
I agree.
Because as bad as they are, I do fear what the alternative might be.
Well, Nigel, you're the expert. If she goes, we get somebody like Pat McFadden, I suppose, as Chancellor. But if he was toppled too, is it Angela Rayner?
Not necessarily, but I mean, I do
she'd
think
be a strong contender.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that Keir Starmer's position and Rachel Reeves' position are entangled.
Yes.
It would be very difficult for one to go
Well, and
with
he
the other.
lashed himself to her mast yesterday.
Very much so. That's what he did. That's what he did yesterday. I mean, the situation here is that what they should be doing is thinking in terms of the future, and no budget must ever be like this one again. So on that basis, there, I don't think Rachel Reeves lied, by the way. I do think there was a lack of transparency, and the whole point there is either you tell everything, or you go back to the old system where you say absolutely nothing. What you can't do is the halfway house in between.
This lack of transparency is the new word for lie, isn't it, really?
No, it's not. No, it's not, because, I mean, a lie would actually be telling an untruth, and she didn't. But the lack of transparency
well, she
meant
said there was
she didn't tell the whole truth.
She said there was a black hole that we needed to
Not on
fill.
November the 4th she didn't, which is the key day.
But then what she talked about was a productivity... that productivity had been downgraded.
That's right. That's the bit she said.
Yes, but she said that would impact on tax receipts.
That's right.
But she'd been told on October the 31st by the Office of Budget Responsibility tax receipts were up because of inflation being higher and because of
She said it would impact on
settlements.
tax, and that's when she floated the idea of income tax. The point that she was making, without giving the figures, and this is what I mean about telling everything.
I think she lied.
Is that the OBR had given her a headroom of 4.2 billion. That clearly wasn't enough. She wanted to increase that to over 20 billion. That was the point of the tax raising thing, but she hadn't used all those figures within that particular briefing.
But you're not being transparent now, are you? Because the reason she raised all the taxes was to give it away in welfare benefits, not to just make her fiscal headroom big enough.
Not just
and if she'd have been brave enough to stand up and say, look, we're OK, we've got this very small surplus, it does need to be bigger, especially as I want to take your hard-working cash and give it to people on welfare.
Yeah.
That would have been honest.
That's my point about making it transparent.
Yeah.
That this is the point about saying everything. In other words, the budget process is completely revamped. You start at the beginning of the year and say, right, I'm thinking of doing this, this, and this. The economy is in this, and this state. Then kind of get a public consultation on it to find out what is likely to work and what doesn't work, or say absolutely nothing, budget purdah, and you wait for the big day to find out what happens.
Because you could argue today we've almost had too much transparency. We've had the running commentary of what the Treasury thinks, what the OBR thinks, what the Labour Party thinks, and actually it's the commentary that's been damaging rather than any particular
and possibly damaging to the economy and to the markets, and we will see how that flies.
There's no doubt about people who have been making a lot of money in the markets on the back of all her
and making decisions or delaying decisions.
Yes.
But the other thing that we need to think about here is I think that what this budget has done is it has drawn a line in the sand between two groups. Those who want big state, big welfare and big taxes, and those that want the complete opposite. It was muddled before because people want to be kind, they want to help people. I think now this has said, right, enough is enough, and it's divided the nation.
I mean, that's sort of the division in the studio. There's Nigel, big state, big taxes, and us three who want the reverse. Small state and lower taxes because it encourages enterprise and...
Yeah, that's roughly it, yes. The divide is sort of there.
Yeah. I think she's rapidly going down in history, Nigel, as the worst Chancellor of modern times, because the last budget was badly handled, but this has been catastrophic.
No, it's the lead up to the budget was badly handled.
That's all part of being Chancellor.
Well, it is part of being Chancellor, but it didn't. The budget itself hasn't unravelled like Liz Truss's budget did. That's got to be the worst budget in history. We haven't had a pasty tax that George Osborne brought in.
I can't let you say that without pushing back.
Okay.
The gilt market has been the highest it has been in terms of returns since Liz Truss under this government. It is much higher now than the damage that Liz Truss does.
There was no spike before or after the budget.
There was no spike, but it's just gradually got worse.
Possibly one thing that will unravel will be business rates, because there's a bit of smoke and mirrors there.
The pub trade is in real trouble over this.
Yeah, I think that the pub trade thing, I mean, bear in mind that this is always going to happen, that you're going to lose that 40% discount you had, which was brought in during COVID. So everyone knew that was going to happen. And what seems to have also happened is that the business valuation rates are going up. Pubs particularly,
massive increases,
and hotels particularly.
But Nigel, huge increases. I've had landlords sending me their bills, how much they're going up.
Yeah, no,
it's going to put a lot of them out of business.
Well, we will come first to you, Renee, next time.